Good morning. Bev Hepting, the Message Maestro here. I want to talk to you today about your audience. And the reason I want to talk to you about that today is because last Thursday's Speakeasy Masterclass was about who are your audience. And this Thursday, 9 o'clock in the morning, is our Thursday Speakeasy Masterclass on where to find them. For me, the importance of knowing who your audience are and where they are is vital. It is so important to get that bit right if you want to make your life a lot easier. Now, I know, and you know, the world knows that the minute you mention the word public speaking, people go white, they shiver, they run around like headless chickens and do everything in their power to avoid it because it scares them. Well, there are ways to reduce that stress. Yes, it's not easy standing up in front of a huge crowd. You ask any speaker and they'll say the same thing. We get nerves. We get a little butterfly sensation going. But because we have control over the things we can control, we know that when we step out there, everything's going to be fine. And one of the reasons is because if you are a great public speaker, then you know who you're talking to. Think of it as the equivalent of in marketing, they say, who's your ideal client? Who are you marketing to? Who are you advertising to? Come up with an avatar, all of that stuff. Well, when you're speaking, it's even more important because we listen emotionally. I've told you this so many times. So if you're sat in front of a speaker as an audience member and waiting to hear something that will relate to you, and you don't get that, the brain switches off pretty quick. In fact, as the years go by and as I get older, I see that time frame getting shorter and shorter. So your job, and it is your job, is to know exactly who your audience is. Now, when it comes to online, and people tend to forget that you're still speaking in public online, you're still speaking to a group of people. The only difference is when you're online, we think you're only speaking to us. So if I'm on a Zoom call and I'm in the audience and there are 20, 30, 40, however many people there are, as far as I'm concerned, the speaker is speaking to me. If I'm sat in a big room, then I acknowledge that that speaker is talking to all of us. But psychologically, when we're on our own in a room listening to somebody, they're speaking to us and only us. So you have to know who your audience is and where they are, because if not, and I sort of pick up on a live or I pick up on something that I've registered for thinking, oh, that's just what I need. And I start listening and I'm bored and it's got nothing to do with the problem I have or the information I need. I'm over on Facebook, I'm checking all sorts of things and it may still be running, but I've ignored it. I've checked out. And what's the one thing we don't want people to do? Check out. Okay, not unless you're making a sale, then they can check out. But generally, when you're speaking to people, the phrase "so what," don't ever let your audience go away going, "so what?" And if you're talking to the right people, they won't. So it's so important you understand who you're talking to. Now, I'm not saying you will always talk to exactly the same people, because certainly what I do attracts audiences from young to old. Sometimes I will be talking to groups from Prince's Trust or from other charities, or even in schools around communicating verbally in a better way. And then I'll be up speaking at larger events, women's groups, things like that. And then I'm speaking as a speaker, talking about confidence, about finding your voice and all those sorts of things. But the one thing that stays the same is my audience want to speak in public with confidence and clarity. That's what they want to do, and that's what they find difficult. So I am not, well, unless someone invites me and pays me huge numbers of pounds money to stand on a stage, I'm not going to be talking to professional speakers because they already get it. At least they should do. I'm not even going to talk about how sometimes people call themselves professional speakers and I check out really quick. So come along on Thursday because we will be talking about where your audience is. And again, why waste your time hanging out in places they're not at? You know, that's like back in the day when we chased around with our autograph books after the greatest pop star in the world was in our local area, hanging around outside the wrong theatre, and they disappeared. You need to know where they are, and the stress levels will reduce. So think about that this week. When you're speaking, who are you speaking to and where are they? And are you reaching them in the right language, on the right platforms, in the way that they can understand you and respond? Because that's what you need. You want people to respond. So what I want you to do this week is seriously think about your audience. If you're struggling with that and don't really understand, then let's have a quick call. Let's have a free call to see how you can incorporate all that, finding where your audience is, into your verbal marketing plan. And if you don't have a verbal marketing plan, what planet have you been on? Because I've been banging on about this for a few weeks now. So goodbye from me to you. Have a great week. Think about your audience and where they are. And if you need me, you know where I am. All you have to do is message me, find me on social media. I don't know, you can send me a carrier pigeon if you like. Just get in touch. All right then. Thank you and bye.